Welcome to Good Morning KU. I'm Alex Worth.
And I'm Emily Johnson. Just over 1 year ago, former President Donald Trump declared COVID-19 a national emergency.
Since then, the United States has seen nearly 30 million people, or just under 10% of the country, test positive for the virus.
This week, our nation saw its 530,000th COVID-related death, making it the leading cause of death over the past year.
And while these numbers might seem grim, things do seem to be getting better. In Kansas, daily cases have been falling steadily over the past 2 weeks.
According to Lawrence Douglas County Public Health, as of Tuesday, the number of active COVID cases sits at 229. This is down from nearly 400 active cases just 2 weeks ago.
Governor Laura Kelly announced Monday that the state will launch both the third and fourth phases of its COVID vaccination distribution next week.
This phase is expected to vaccinate about 600,000 Kansans. The state looks to meet President Biden's goal of having vaccinations available for all adults by May 1st. You got vaccinated, isn't that right, Alex?
Yeah, I got vaccinated last Wednesday at the Lawrence Douglas County Fairgrounds, and it was a really cool experience. They let me videotape the whole thing, and I think we have the video for you guys right now. As you can see here, they have you drive through a maze of cones before eventually pulling up to this indoor facility where they'll direct you on what to do. They'll give you your cool little vaccine card saying what's on it, what vaccine you're getting. And while I was in line, I spoke to a gentleman, and he told me that over 3,100 people were going to get vaccinated here alone that day, which is no surprise given the amount of people you see here. These are all volunteers, just an army of them. And I mean, just a ton of cars here while I was there. And now you'll see my friend Sarah getting her shot first. I had her go before me because she's far more brave. And then it's really quick, as you can see there, and here's me, and I wince like a little baby right there, but it didn't hurt that bad. I was overreacting. And then we had to take the mandatory post-COVID vaccine selfie, as you can see here. And I actually got the Pfizer vaccine, and the whole process took just about 40 minutes, and that includes the 10-minute waiting period to see if you have any reaction to the virus, which luckily neither of us did. So it was a great experience all around.
That's great. Well, it's really lucky that you had the opportunity to get the vaccine. I know a lot of students and faculty are still waiting to get one.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will start kind of rolling out a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be great. And I should have my second dose in about 2 weeks from now, so I'm looking forward to that. But while unfortunate acts of racial injustice have been on the rise nationally, groups at KU are starting to fight back.
Last Thursday, the KU Black Student Coalition protested the mistreatment of Black Indigenous people of color at KU. Take a look.
What started as a group of around 10 protesters quickly grew to nearly 50 within the hour. Their cause? To fight back against the university's poor handling of recent events.
There's just been a lot of actions happening that have not backed up or supported the claims that KU says that they're about. So diversity, equity, inclusion.
Some of these actions include the recent firing of many Black and brown employees, the dismantling of the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and the reorganization of the Office of Multicultural Affairs. One of those who attended was Mazzy Martinez, a student active in several social justice organizations on campus. I asked her about racism she's experienced while at KU.
About 2 a.m. once, I was walking, I was the only one in the hall, and a group of white men walk past me and make a joke about lynching me to me.
Although stories like this are not uncommon, these students say that the university does tend to ignore them.
And honestly, that's really, I think, what affects KU's retention of Black and brown students and faculty and staff, because these things are happening, and when we do say something, nothing's being done about it.
Speaking to the crowd through a megaphone, McAdoo had this to say about the ongoing problems facing people of color.
These issues are real, they're happening to us every day, and it's time to stand up for us, period.
The protesters spent the whole day on Jayhawk Boulevard before eventually moving into Strawn Hall, where they remained throughout the night and into Friday morning.
And the university has yet to make a statement about the protest. Iowa, Mississippi, Montana, North Dakota, Texas, and Wyoming are the 6 states that have lifted mandatory mask mandates.
I had the chance to interview a local business manager and Watkins health official regarding how they feel about possible mask mandate changes. Let's take a look. As we round a year after the pandemic, you might be getting a little sick and tired of having to put a mask on before entering businesses. As other states began to lift mask mandates, what is next for Kansas? Businesses in Lawrence have become used to the new normal of social distance dining. The Roost, located on Massachusetts Street, has closed for dine-in since March. The Roost plans to require masks inside for quite some time, even if the mask mandate is lifted for Douglas County or Kansas. Manager Sue Radican shared why they have decided to continue requiring masks.
We're not going to undo the hard work that our community and we have done to be safe, to keep our staff safe, to help keep numbers as low as they can be in Douglas County and then in Lawrence, obviously, specifically.
Dr. Pavik Sarapalli from Watkins Health Center explained that if mask mandates were lifted now, there are unknowns about more possible variants coming, how many people have actually been vaccinated, and the immunity of people who were sick in the fall.
So if everybody just reopened completely and stopped the masking and the distancing, we'd probably have another outbreak. Yeah.
For now, it seems like still wearing a mask is the best option for everyone.
It's going to be very interesting to see how other states are changing mandates, and it really makes you wonder if Kansas will do something similar to that.
Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, and like most holidays in the last year, celebrations looked a little bit different. KUJH's Matt Mitchie was downtown looking at how people were celebrating throughout the day.
For the first time since its inception in 1988, the Lawrence St. Patrick's Day Parade was canceled last year. This year, its organizers were committed to ensuring the tradition stayed alive and came up with the social distancing reverse parade.
It's called a reverse parade because instead of the parade coming to you, you come to the parade.
Since March 5th, over 20 local businesses have set up stands, decorations, and special deals all across Massachusetts Street celebrating St. Patrick's Day. You can vote on the parade's Facebook page for your favorite display, and the winner will get a special reverse parade trophy. The parade ends today, so if you haven't embraced your St. Patrick's spirit, take a walk down Mass Street and vote for your favorite stand.
For KUJH at Lucia Shamrock Shack, I'm Matt Mitchie.
St. Patrick's Day is always a great time. You know, we had to go out last night and get a couple green beers to celebrate, even though I'm personally not Irish.
And honestly, a lot of bars throughout Lawrence seemed pretty busy, and everybody seemed to be in the spirit of celebrating the holiday.
It's always a great time. Unfortunately, that's all that the two of us have for you this morning, but
after the break, we have an interview with a student who moved back home for remote learning.
And of course, we'll have our regular news and sports briefs and weather with Jade. Stay with us.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
I think it's been trying. I think trying with mental health. I think a lot of people have been discovering a lot about themselves and friendships and relationships. I think trying is the best word because no matter, I think every person has been something that has been unfortunate, whether that's been a big event that's been canceled or, you know, just been struggling to not be able to see people or whatever, something that's been happening. I think everyone's had something that's been testing to them.
I know your living situation changed from apartment, now you're kind of doing the commuting. How has that transition kind of gone?
It's been interesting. At first, it was really fun. Now we're in four weeks in, I think, yeah. First couple weeks, I'm like, this is so exciting, this is so fun. And now it's starting to kind of wear a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out ways I can keep going because obviously I don't have another choice. Mm-hmm. So to find ways to make this more fun. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to find friends to meet with, do things like this. That's why I was like so excited to help. I'm like, yay, I get to see a friend. Yesterday I saw some old roommates. But yeah, I've just been trying to find things to like keep me going to make it fun. But it's been definitely, it's starting to wear on me a little bit.
You know, obviously your home environment is different from an apartment where you're living on your own, you decorate it yourself, you buy your own food. Mm-hmm. How would you describe that kind of environment change or like what?
Yeah, pros and cons for both. I think the pro of living in an apartment is you feel like an adult. You feel like I'm living on my own. I'm in charge of myself. I have my own routine that is only about me. It's very self-centered. I go to the grocery store for myself. I'm an adult. At home, I still feel that way a little bit, but when you're living with your parents, you kind of have it doesn't quite feel like that. You kind of start resorting to your old habits of parents are in charge. I have to tell my mom where I'm going everywhere. I'm still going to do that anyway because I like her. But I kind of start feeling less like an adult and more just like, okay, I'm in high school again. We do joke that my room is my apartment. So I did redecorate it, so I get to kind of have that safe space. So that's been fun to be able to like have my little apartment in my house. But the pros of it of being at home, I get my dogs, I get free food, and I have a giant backyard. So whenever it does get warm out, like I feel like in an apartment, there's really not a lot of spaces to like be outside. And so I get to have a giant backyard. There's lots of places to walk in a neighborhood. So I think there's definitely more pros than cons, but I think not feeling like an adult when I'm kind of barely an adult, but not having those like fun college, like I'm on my own feelings that's the downside that's like the big change. First semester, I was in that apartment all the time, and I would joke when I would go to my running club events or whatever, when we go outside and run, I'm like, this is my first time I've been outside today, or like this is my one event to get outside today, and it would just be so funny because it was true. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't leave the room. I might go to the kitchen, but like there's really no point to get out. I started to force myself to go to coffee shops or wherever to do homework in a different space because there was really no point in going anywhere. There's a college right down the road where my boyfriend goes to school, and I'll study on their campus a lot too, which has been really fun. But there's a lot more options of space to hide, I guess, because there's not, places to go. So yeah, like I said, with the pros and cons, there's way more pros than cons in this situation. I think the cons do weigh on you, but like you have those pros to lift you back up. Last semester, I hardly saw friends. I hardly went anywhere, even though I could have done those things safely and with COVID in mind, but I just didn't because I'm like, oh, I'll do it another time. This is like forced me, like, you're doing this today. When I was in a good headspace in the apartment, it was actually really fine. Like, I think the energy was really good. I liked being on my own. I felt like there was, again, like you said, like a deep breath. There were obviously other situations going on behind the scenes that made me not feel like that was the best environment for me. And that's why I went home. And I think both spaces have always been a place of comfort. So I think it really wasn't a huge space. But once the apartment became like a negative space for me, that's when I wanted to go home. And it does feel like a deep breath.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Welcome back. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Tala. This is your Thursday Good Morning KU News Update. After former athletic director Jeff Long stepped down last week, KU has hired Kurt Watson as the interim athletic director. Watson made an announcement to the KU community via KUathletics.com for the first time yesterday, saying he understands this is a crucial transition point for the university and KU cannot afford to make any more mistakes.
I know we have a lot of decisions to make, decisions that we cannot afford to get wrong, but it's going to take everybody working together. We can't change our past, but we can learn from it to ensure a brighter future. We've had some stumbles, and we admit that, but we're not going to dwell on those mistakes. Rather, we're going to focus on where we're headed and how we get there. The good news is there's a lot of enthusiasm within the department, and I want to try to continue to draw that out. More importantly, we need that same kind of enthusiasm from the entire Jayhawk Nation. You know, I accepted this role because, like you, I'm a Jayhawk through and through. My passion is the University of Kansas, and I've been fortunate to serve the institution throughout the years. But it's hard to imagine any role more important than this one right now. Stay with us, Jayhawks, because the future is bright. Rock Chalk.
Jayhawks will open play in the 49th NCAA tournament on Saturday against number 14 seed Eastern Washington. According to Coach Self, David McCormack will be back to play in the first game of the tournament, but the KU will be without redshirt freshman Jalen Wilson and sophomore Tristan Enaruna because of COVID-19 protocols. Both players are expected to return to play if the Jayhawks advance to the Sweet 16.
Shootings at 2 massage parlors in Atlanta, Georgia, and another in the suburbs on Tuesday left 8 people dead. Many of those killed were women of Asian descent, according to Atlanta police. This shooting comes during a recent influx in violence against Asian Americans in the U.S. A 21-year-old male suspect is in custody.
It has been 1 year since the pandemic shut down the United States economy. According to a study by TransUnion, about 6 in 10 people say that their household income has taken a hit. On the other hand, 100 million stimulus checks started arriving across the country yesterday. The new stimulus check is $1,400, and all stimulus checks are expected to deliver over the next 10 days.
Many Douglas County residents will become eligible for the COVID vaccine next week. The county will be moving into phase 3 and 4 of vaccine, and so far, 11,000 residents have signed up through the county entrance form. Lawrence Memorial Hospital is also working on opening a clinic that will provide 2,000 shots per week.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton said Gritty Energy will forgive more than $29 million in electric bills owed by customers. Paxton sued the company earlier this month in hopes to hold them accountable for the winter storm in February. Approximately 24,000 Texans will be relieved of their electric bills. Gritty Energy filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy Monday and posted much of the blame on the Electric Reliability Council of Texas.
That is all for your news update. Now over to Gabe with sports.
Welcome back. I'm Gabe with KU Sports Briefs. The baseball team is expected to play at home for the first time this season. KU will host Creighton tomorrow at 3 p.m. with the 3 more games this weekend. Last week, the team's home opener was rained out, so the Jayhawks will hit the road for 4 games at Nebraska-Omaha, winning 3 of 4. The softball team is 11-8 after a 3-0 loss to Northern Iowa on Saturday. The Jayhawks will host Tulsa, South Dakota, and North Dakota State this weekend in the Jayhawk Invitational. The soccer team drew 0-0 with Kansas State on Saturday at Rock Chalk Park. KU is now 6-3-2 on the season and travel to Ames, Iowa on Saturday for a 3 p.m. kickoff against Iowa State. Coming off a sweep against TCU and riding a 3-match winning streak, the volleyball team is at Wichita State today. The home-and-home series will continue on Saturday when the Jayhawks host the Shockers at Horst Family Center. And with spring football just around the corner, KU has named Emmett Jones as the interim head coach. Jones is in his 3rd year with the Jayhawks as the wide receivers coach and passing game coordinator. His close relationship with the players has been cited as a primary reason for his promotion while Kansas Athletics searches for a new athletic director and head football coach. That's it for sports. After a quick break, Jade will be here with the weather.
Hi, welcome back to Good Morning KU. I'm Jade Stevensmeyer with your weather forecast for today. This is a live look at Jayhawk Boulevard this morning. It's a little bit gloomy out there, a few people walking around, 39 degrees and very windy with the winds coming from the north-northwest at 21 miles per hour. This is a satellite image. You can see that cloud cover covering Douglas County right now, and that's going to continue throughout the rest of today. We're going to get into the 40s for our high, upper 40s, and we're going to see the sun just for a little bit before sunset this evening. Tonight we're going to cool down to 27 for our low, with those winds calming down just a little bit, 10 to 15 miles per hour from the north-northeast. Tomorrow, great news, the sun is coming out once again, 54 for our high, and the winds dying down a lot from today, 8 miles per hour from the east-northeast. That pleasant weather is going to continue into this weekend, which is great news after seemingly endless rain this past week. Sunny and 60 degrees on Saturday, and then 65 degrees for our high on Sunday. Now, we don't have any chances for tornadoes today in Kansas, but after a huge tornado outbreak in Mississippi and Alabama yesterday, those tornado chances have since moved to the east. This is the Tornado Condition Index, as you can see right here. There's a lot of chances for severe weather and tornadoes on the East Coast today, with the highest chance being North and South Carolina. But hopefully, if there are any storms, the damage will be minimal. Well, moving into our extended forecast for Lawrence, we do have that chance of sunshine and beautiful weather for the weekend as we head into that. When we start our week next week, we're going to have a couple days of rain Monday and Tuesday, but we're going to dry off a little bit next Wednesday, and we're going to stay in the 60s for our highs for the most part. But that's all we have for you today on Good Morning KU. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.